have some more amazing programming. You just heard about Tomas's new show, which is coming up on Monday. You guys want to make sure to check that out. You also want to check out the KUAM Podcast Network because we have a brand new show that we have added. We now have 10 and with the dubious distinction of being the double-digit number in our collection of podcasts, we have Tasi Ada, who is joining us right now, and she actually produces her own show called Talks with Toss. It's this wonderful interview series. She talks to people about physical therapy, her own work, talks to athletes, trainers, dietitians. And why am I even talking with it? Tasi is here right now. Tasi, I'm trying to give you like a very, very dignified intro and everything like that. But I've been watching your show, when setting it up on our podcast platform. And you've got some really, really good interviews. And as an athlete, I appreciate that because you guys actually cover a lot of topics that kind of fall by the wayside when it comes to recovery, to healing, to getting your body in tip-top shape, whether it's on the court, on the field, or what have you. So we're really happy to have you as part of the KUM Podcast Network.
Thank you for having me on. I thought it was a good introduction, honestly. I think
thank
you did really well. Definitely hit the nail on the head with what I'm trying to do with the podcast series. So a number of interviews with people I've met along the way as an athlete, as a sports delegate, and now as a physical therapist. So really what I'm trying to do is put out information that I think not only people on Guam, but internationally would appreciate from a number of topics, whether it be wanting to be an athlete, wanting to be in a physical therapy or a healthcare type of profession, as well as just wanting to know other things so for example, my most recent podcast interview with Coach Gabriela Mueller, she is a coach for public speaking and communications, things that I think regardless of whether you're an athlete or you're a healthcare professional, you could definitely benefit from, and other ways to connect people, not only within the Pacific, but past that too. So.
And I've gone through some of your interviews already like that. First of all, you're a fantastic interviewer, and for those of us in the business, we really appreciate the way you have respect for your guests and the way you pull information out of them. And it's a real organic conversation. And I like the fact how you also talk about again topics that when I was growing up playing sports, it was all about just can you go, and are you physically gifted, and do you have the competitive spirit? But you actually talk a lot about the psychology of being an athlete, and if you do get hurt or just the wear and tear you take on your body through the rigors of competition and everything like that, how you can both physically as well as mentally get back to performing at tip-top shape.
Oh yes, there's so much more to the experience of just being an athlete, and there's so many other people that are part of those big events that make that possible. So not just the athletes, but you have the coaches, you have the trainers, you have the medical staff, you have the sports administrators and the sports developers. So those who are doing the grassroots level, making sure that there's even a level of competition at the child age group and onwards. So really just highlighting just amazing people that contribute to this on so many levels that you wouldn't necessarily think of. You think of, it's just the athletes, they show up, they compete, and somebody wins and somebody loses, and that's it. But there's really just a whole team behind that makes it possible. And the psychology of being an athlete is so important to highlight, because it's not just you wake up, you train, you show up, you compete. There's so many other things, especially for athletes, particularly on Guam, that I can at least speak on behalf of, is that you have work, you have potentially kids, you have school, and so all these other things that play into who you are as an athlete. And really, athletes are not just people competing in a specific sport, but they're leaders in a sense that they set an example as far as being disciplined, being responsible, showing up for others, having that team orientation skill set. So really that's stuff that I want to put at the forefront for people to learn more about, because sports changed my life, and I'm sure it changed your life, and it continues to change other people's lives.
Well, maybe get into that a little bit. How exactly did sports change your life?
Well, so I've always competed in sports from a young age. So I did Korean martial arts early on, and then I did Hapkido, and then I did soccer. But it wasn't until I got introduced to rugby in high school that I really started to take sports or the sport of rugby very seriously. And so from that point on, I completely committed myself just to rugby. I started going into the weight room and actually working alongside the coaches more consistently than I ever had in the past. And when I tried out for the national team, that is when I believe things just really took off for me. So not only as an athlete, but realizing, man, there's other things that have to be addressed on a managerial standpoint, whether it be fundraising or organizing events, competitive events, and trying to get involved in that way. And I think at that point, that's when it was a time for me to take on other roles. And once I did that, that opened the doors up in as far as being a sports delegate and representing Guam at not just competitive events, but forums, athlete forums, anywhere between interacting with other countries and other athletes and other sports administrators. So I think that really changed my life. I was forced into roles at a very young age, 18, 19 years old. And that's kind of what not only challenged me in a good way, but gave me that confidence to try other things, to even go for a PT school. I don't think physical therapy school, I don't think I would have done that had I not had that experience prior to.
All right, we're going to go ahead and play a little sniblet here from your latest episode, Toss. And so she's got a few episodes on her channel that we're going to go ahead and share, but this brand new one is, well, it's a great one. You interview...
She's saying Gabriella Mueller.
Right, yeah, Coach Gabby. So we're going to go ahead and play this clip again. It's new content on the KUAM Podcast Network. Good morning.
They're available worldwide and even digitally. At the time, I needed to get certified in London. I wanted to work in English. Mm-hmm. So I've been working now 10 years as a coach for corporations. And then one day, the International Olympic Committee knocks on my door and says, you know, we need you to go and do this amazing 3 days seminar in Miami because the coach that was supposed to go has canceled. And this is just a few days before the date. And I had the opportunity to decide whether or not I was going to jump in or not. I was so glad I did.
Yes, because then that led to a series of events. And if that hadn't happened, I don't know if I would have met you back in 2013 for that Women in Sports seminar. Completely changed everything for me when it comes to one-on-one interactions with individuals, how to be professional, how to articulate your message and get what you want across, and also publicly speak. I mean, I just remember, so similar to like Toastmasters, where we're all standing up there, we have to give a little bit of our spiel, and then one by one, we give our own little critiques of one another and how to better position your hands or how to work the room and how to use like 1, 2, 3, 4, the points you're trying to make. And I mean, see how much it still sticks with me, and I still use that in my everyday. And I just remember going into, when I was applying to physical therapy school, that interview was so important because it's your one chance for you to show them who you are and what matters to you and why you want to be a physical therapist.
All right, so that was a sneak peek of that's essentially episode 4 of Tasi's interview series. It's on the KUAM Podcast Network already, you guys, so you can get it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, Audible. It's all over the place. If Spotify, if there is a podcast platform, you're going to be able to see Talks with Tas there. She's also got a really thriving YouTube channel where she also directly replies to any comments you send her. So we're going to share Tasi's YouTube interview with Coach Gabby. We got that coming up later on this afternoon. But Tas, I also wanted to ask you, because we've been framing everything so far within the context of competitive athletics, and that's not, the only reason you do this work and everything. Because as a physical therapist, I'm sure you see like a lot of people who, aren't athletes, but they may have had maybe people that have had to recover from various types of injuries, maybe post-surgical. Mothers after they give birth and everything like that. So kind of talk about some of the other work that you do on a physical therapy standpoint.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So one of the other things that I hope to focus on now that I'm licensed here in Guam and I can see patients, my focus is generally going to be pelvic health rehabilitation, or also known as women's health. And so that comes with a number of conditions as well as symptoms, but they're not just associated with females or women. They're also associated with males and men, but it's really more common in women. So, for example, I'm not too sure how accurate this is, but I think it was a 2012 study that over 50% of women over the age of 20, they experience conditions of, or symptoms, I should say, of pelvic floor dysfunction. And so that's anything that has to do with the group of muscles that work to control your bowel and bladder. They contribute to supporting your organs as well as aiding in sexual function. Mm-hmm. So this is something that I want to focus on now that I'm here on Guam, because as you can imagine, I'm sure this is about the first time all of you are hearing about something like this, but many are not aware that these things can be addressed. And so having that here on Guam would be so great, I think, just as a woman, and then for other women that I know that and that I don't. So I think that is something that would be really great for our community.
All right, and it's 909-989-0436 is the number down to Custom Fitness if you're watching this and you'd like to book an appointment with Tasi. Tasi, thank you so much. We're really humbled and honored that we're getting your content on our KUAM Podcast Network, and we're looking forward to working together.
Yes.
And welcome home.
Thank you so much.
Well, so just so people know, which Ada family are you, and which village are you from?
Oh, so actually it's Ada from Saipan.
Okay.
Oh, Tomas is probably going to reach out to you.
We got our blueberry bread connect.
And then a girl on my mom's side from Maina.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So you got a tattoo maybe on one side that says 671 and 671 on the other one.
You know what? I will keep that in mind the next time I consider getting a tattoo.
Well, we know you've got both islands on your heart, so no.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Sorry about my friend Tasi.
Great to have you on board. We're really happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
There you go.
Stay safe.
Talks with Tasi. Premiering Jay, when are we going to get that on?
Yeah, so if you guys go on any podcast platform right now, the audio version, and please subscribe to it because she's got 4 episodes. If you guys want to binge listen, really, really good episodes. Each one is about the length of, the typical Guam commute. So if you're picking the kids up from school, you're making a delivery, running errands, going to work and everything like that, you'll actually get really, really good information that you can use. And as I said, she is a fantastic interviewer. Yeah. Very, very good entertainment.
Right on. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Tasi. And we're gonna take a break and come back with Feed Me Fridays right here on the link. Good morning.
Catch SportsLink on the
KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated,